Start. Okay, we're live.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Today, I am going to be talking about if you're a B2B SaaS or you're running a B2B SaaS, how do you get customers from SEO? For the last year, we've been experimenting with a lot of different things. And in this talk, in like the next 30 minutes, I'm going to give you an actual action plan of how to do that, of all the things that worked for us, and then the things that didn't work for you. But I'm actually going to show you the impact of the work that we did, so you know and understand kind of like what are the possibilities. So I hope by the end of this talk, you'll have a page full of notes and an action plan to get to your 100 page views a week for your B2B SaaS. That's my hope. Let me share my screen here and we can get going. All right, everyone can see my screen. I'm going to say, I think
Yep.
yes. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so let's get into it. Share my screen here. So how we went from 0 to 100 page views a week for our B2B SaaS. For those of you who don't know what we do, we run a B2B SaaS called Engine AI. It's basically a content marketing platform for B2B SaaS. And so naturally, content marketing SEO is our go-to channel to promote and get more customers for our company. My name is Suk. I am the co-founder and CTO. I have experience with engineering work, mostly at IBM, Apple, and Saks. For Saks Avenue, that I was working on very recently, I was actually responsible for speeding up SaaS.com domain, all of it, because the faster a site loads, the more revenue that they make. I've also been building projects, side projects for a long time. I built around 28 in the last 8 years. And so really gone through the rigmarole of I'm a builder. I just don't know how to do marketing. Found SEO a couple of years ago and really been trying to dissect it, figure out what's working, and then share my learnings with our customers, with the folks that we meet. And so that's those learnings are going to be what you're going to see today. So let's get started. I actually had slides in the morning that were very wordy, and I scrapped all of them. What I'm going to show you today is first half, I'm going to show you what we did, what the impact of all the work that we did was, and then I'm going to share how we did it. So these are going to be bullet points on like you do X, Y, Z, and you get this result, right? So first, I'm going to show you what you can get, and then in the second part, I'm going to show you how to do it, all step by step. And if you have questions on the way, if you could add it to the chat, we can address that at the end as well. That'd be great. All right. So everything I'm talking about, we actually run our product on engineai/blog. So we doc for our own product. So any of the SEO work that I'm talking about is actually coming from this blog that we have hosted. So all the work that we're doing is to get this blog up in rankings, because if our blog ranks high, then our landing pages do as well. And then we get more traffic and more customers that way. So yeah, so engineai/blog, that's what I'm going to be talking about. Let's get right into it. What we did. So here is all the stuff, the success that we've had and what that looks like. So number one, we actually started, you can see we started, like we launched the website around July, and we had barely any people sort of coming onto the website until around November. And then it sort of started spiking up. And you can see the trend is kind of like on the upward slope. And so this is kind of like around November is when we started doing the SEO work, which I'll describe later on. But this is the impact that we're seeing over the last 4 or 5 months. So this is all traffic that I didn't have to personally work for. It's just kind of like people are finding us themselves. We also ranked number one for a keyword called programmatic SEO tools, which is very specific to our industry, and we want to be ranked higher for that. By the way, you can see that we're outranking Zapier and SEMrush. So don't let anybody tell you that if you're new, you can't beat some of the big competitors or big websites. We do that right now. So if you want to go and check, in fact, I can go right now. So programmatic SEO tools, if I search that up, well, this one, we're number two, but we're right there. So SEMrush is here, Zapier is here. So that's another thing that we're able to do with the work that we've done. And number three, we have a backlink from HubSpot. So I'll show you how we got that, but right there, it's actually a follow link as well. So it's a do follow link from HubSpot. we were able to get into that. And if you know HubSpot, they're like, and I think 98 domain ranking. So a backlink from them helps a ton. So that's everything that we did in the last 4 or 5 months. So now I'm going to break down how we did it. Okay. And we're going to go by the number of page views. So when you're starting with SEO, you first want to do this -1 to 0 check of like, is it the right time to do SEO for you right now? The reason for that is, even though SEO can bring you traffic, that doesn't mean you're gonna get conversions today. So if I go back to my graph here, if I was in somewhere in July to November, I wasn't gonna be making any money because there's nobody even coming to the website. So you really need a short-term channel and a long-term channel. So you can see my poorly drawn graph here, but as you do more, so at the start, you want to do more founder-led sales as you're building up your SEO, in the hopes that eventually you can do less founder-led sales or ads or use other channels and have sort of SEO take over, right? So that's the kind of like the work that you have to put in. But at the very start, when you have nobody showing up your website, you want to have another channel that's giving you short-term results. Maybe that's cold outreach over email, over LinkedIn, ads, whatever that may be. As you're building out your SEO, right? So first thing I would check is like, are you making at least 500 MRR? I think like that's a good benchmark for you to have, where if you are making less money than that, it's actually better off. You're better off doing cold outreach and cold email, that kind of stuff. I don't think SEO is a thing that you should jump on. Number two is the product self-serve ready? So you want people that are coming in from the website to be able to like try out the product right away and have there be some sort of a probability that they will convert, right? But if you don't have a product that's ready for self-serve, or you're doing more of book a demo, you're again better off just doing targeted cold email outreach versus spending your time on SEO. The last part is, does the ROI calculation make sense? I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So we built this very simple calculator that takes in your monthly traffic, a conversion rate, and LTV, and it tells you roughly from SEO how much yearly revenue you can make. So for example, let's say I do 1,000 monthly visits traffic and conversion rate about 0.5, so 0.5% out of the 1,000 people convert, and my LTV. So this is how much am I charging monthly, and how long do I retain my users for in terms of months. Let's say I'm charging $5 a month and my users stay for 3 months. That's 15, right? This calculation actually doesn't make sense, right? So your offer, or the thing that you're building, which is in this case, something for $5 a month, with 1,000 monthly traffic, it actually doesn't make sense for you to actually do this. Your offer needs to be revised. So either you have to charge more for your product, so not 5, maybe 50, or find a way to retain your customers for longer for this calculation to make sense, right? So for example, I could say, hey, okay, so maybe if I can get 10,000 people, well, the number's a little bit better, but it's not that great. Okay, what if I charge instead of $5 a month, 50, and now we're getting somewhere. It's of course, the more money you're charging, the longer people stay, the more sense kind of like this calculation makes. A pro tip is, you can, depending on the category that you're building your product in, you can go and find a company that's already an incumbent, or somebody that's already taking over the industry or that vertical, and find their monthly traffic and basically do this calculation to see, if you were as good as these folks, how much money could you make with SEO, right? Let me show you an example of this. Let's pick up a random website. So maybe I can do. Does anybody want to throw up a competitor they can search up? Let's see. Or maybe we can do Indie Worldwide. Would that work? Let's see. Indie Worldwide. Um, yeah. So if Indie Worldwide was my competitor, I could actually go search them up. and say, okay, so this traffic actually doesn't make sense because 34, and so it doesn't make sense in this case. Maybe upmeet.com. Is it on? No, maybe it's upmeet something else. Oh, .me. Yeah, this one's not a lot of traffic either. Let's do monday.com. That one's a good go-to. So yeah, monday.com has a lot, right? So monday.com actually has 635K monthly traffic. So let's say you were making a monday.com alternative, you could now go in here and say, if I was as big as monday.com, 635K traffic monthly, and my conversion rate was 0.5, and the same LTV, I could make like 500K per year, right? So all of a sudden now this number starts looking more, really good. So you want to do this calculation to make sure that it actually makes sense for your industry. If you're in an industry where like the top competitor is actually getting only 1,000 monthly views traffic, then it's not going to work out, and you need to work on your offer. And to work on your offer, I would recommend the 100 Million Offers book to figure that out. They walk you through the whole thing. Cool. So once you know that once you've done that calculation and it kind of makes sense, then you can kind of move on from to get your first page views. So to get your first 20 page views per week, you want to show up in search. That's number one. So if somebody searches up like engine on Google, you want to be the first person that shows up. And it's actually very difficult for this to happen, just because like how initially, I think when we first started, when I would type in engine, it would autocorrect, of course, to like engine like that, and nothing would show up. So if people were searching this up somewhere and they had heard of us, they would never be able to find us. So number one priority is have your name or website show up when somebody searches your name in Google search, right? The way to do that and the way we did it, was kind of surprising. Oh, okay. It was surprising because we used to have a Next.js site that was a custom one I had built, and it wouldn't show up top. And we switched to Framer, framer.com, kind of like Webflow, and we just started showing up at the top for the keyword right away. I'm not sure what the issue was, and honestly, it wasn't worth the time to figure out what the difference between the Next.js site and Framer was, but that's kind of what worked for us. So figure out ways to be able to show up in search that your name shows up right at the top. Some of the other ways I did it was to be able to be able to send folks from other like social platforms over to my website by doing more build in public. So I was creating these kind of posts, which I do still on Twitter. Things like, hey, we just launched 14-day trials for Engine. Now, because we show up right up top, if somebody is like, what is Engine? They can just copy paste and like find us right away. But in the early days, no one could do that. So I would actually write out engine.ai here. And then person would go in and search up engine.ai. They might not find it right away. We might be buried under, but they were doing the hard work of finding us. And that, I think, gave Google the signal of like engine means engine.ai. And that, I think, helped over time for us to rank for that keyword or for that term as well. So basically, I would first switch to try out Framer if it works for you. I think it will work. We've got another a founder do the same switch, and it kind of worked out for them as well. And then go out and do build in public by including the name of your website in the actual posts. And you only need a couple of people sort of like following you, and over time, Google will learn and you will start showing up top for your keyword. And that will get you your first 20 page views. For the next 10, I did this. I just spent a day and I submitted our website because we didn't have any backlinks. We just submitted our website to a bunch of different directories. Some cost money. It was some cost around like $10 to $250, depending on like what kind of site it is. But most of them were free. So I've actually done the hard work of like finding these directories for you guys. So these links actually show you, hey, go on Indie Hacker and create a startup listing. Go to Hacker News. Go to Product Hunt. And then at the bottom as well, there's way more of them. So spend a day, go to each of these links, and just drop your URL, your name, and like what you do there, and you'll start getting these backlinks from them as well, and that will get you your next few page views coming in, because all of a sudden you had 0 backlinks and now you have 10 good backlinks that are coming back to you. There's actually a very AI specific directories now too, which there's 50 or 60 of them, and they're fantastic. So Future Tools is one I recommend the most. So if you were to choose a couple out of these, there's an AI for that. That one's a really good one. Futurepedia is a good one, and Future Tools is a really good one. All of them have a lot of traffic coming in. Let me see if I can show you here. Yeah. So here, so it's all about like finding different platforms, finding different tools that use AI, and there should be like a submit link somewhere here. Yeah, it's got to be here somewhere. But yeah, so I would actually just submit it here, and then they shout you in their newsletter, on the social media, plus they give you a backlink in here. I've had, when it was initially submitted, our website, we had like 20 to 30 people coming in right from here. So I highly recommend doing that, and you'll have, it's a day's worth of work basically. So once you have that, now comes the hard work. So now you've done the basic amount of work to get your site showing up for the search, but you're not really ranking for anything that's non-branded. You're probably ranking for your name. And if somebody already knows your name, that's fine. But it doesn't like really, it's not really a great acquisition source, because they already know about your site, or they already know about what you do. You want to capture people that didn't know about your brand. They come in and sort of see what you're doing, and then they pay for that, right? So to get that, you actually want to write really high quality blog posts. So none of like, you can use AI to kind of like help you with the writing process, but I wouldn't use any of the services where you put in a keyword and kind of like it just writes something for you, and you copy paste and you call it a day. These have to be really high quality, where if I send that blog post to you, you're like, oh man, this is value. Like I really think I learned something from reading this. That's how good they need to be. 20 is a number I've seen where it's just statistically significant enough for you to see any results. So if you write 1, 2, that's great, but it's not going to do much for you until you hit around the 20 mark. So for context, in November, when I was showing you this chart here, the thing that changed here was in November, I actually wrote 20 blog posts. And that's the impact that you're seeing here of this going up, because otherwise it was just like mostly the growth was flattened. So I wrote 20 blog posts, and I wrote them on the topic which is relevant to us, which is B2B SaaS SEO. And I covered different parts of the buyer's journey. So I covered top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. And that actually really had a meaningful jump in search traffic. So let me show you what these blog posts sort of look like. So this is a top of the funnel. So this is like your classic, hey, what is Google Search Console? And if you go and read it, it actually like it's like really high quality and really high value. It's not anything, none of this is written by AI. At the end, I think there's a bunch of screenshots, and at the end, I also give you 3 ways to use it like a pro that I don't think other websites kind of give you. So this is high quality. It's people will read it, they say, hey, I got value. They'll send it to their friends and family, and that will kind of like get the ball rolling. But this is kind of what you want to do. So I wrote 20 of these. This is one. You can see on the actual blog post. So you'll see how to nurture leads, Google Search Console that I just showed you, content calendar, how much should you be posting, ultimate guide to SEO, what is engine, how to customize, like tools. So it was these kind of topics, but they were again like more than 20. With the covering different parts of the funnel, most folks or most marketers just try to, when they write blog posts, they only write the top of the funnel blog post. So like what is Google Search Console, for example, which is great, but it's going to bring you traffic, but it might not give you conversions, because somebody that's looking for what is Google Search Console doesn't really want to buy your software at this stage. So you kind of have to like move them down the funnel. If you don't know what buyer's journey is, this is what it looks like. Yeah, this is what it is. So basically it's 3 steps. So there's an awareness stage, there's consideration, there's decision. At awareness, the buyer only knows about, like, they don't even know that they need a tool. They're just looking for some information. So what is Google Search Console is a classic kind of like awareness stage. In consideration stage, this is when the buyer knows that they have a problem and they're trying to figure out what solution they should use. So they're trying to decide, hey, should I build something in-house? Should I buy a tool? What should I do? Then the last one is decision stage, where they know they have narrowed down all the tools into like maybe 2 or 3 tools, and they're trying to now do research of like, hey, should I buy this or should I buy that? So somebody that's at the top of the funnel, they're not ready to buy. The person at the bottom of the funnel here, they are ready to buy. So you want to when you write this content on your blogs, you want to cover every part of the buyer's journey, and that naturally leads people from top of the funnel to middle of the funnel to bottom of the funnel here. And then then you have a conversion. The way in our app we make that clear is in the research tab here. We actually tell you for bottom of the funnel, these are the things you should be writing. In the middle of the funnel, these are the things you should be writing. And in top of the funnel, these are the things you should be writing. So this kind of gives you a good mix of titles to write for. And you can kind of see, so that was the top of the funnel I showed you for Google Search Console. For middle of the funnel, this could be a case study that you've done. So some work you've done for a client and you write a case study. So this is actually a case study, and this is qualified as a middle of the funnel content. And the last one is bottom of the funnel. So this is when you want to convert, when the person is decision aware. So they already know that they need to buy a tool. They're just trying to figure out which one. So this post is comparing us versus a competitor, and kind of like there's a post on that. So you want to again cover all 3 parts of the buyer's journey to make sure that you're moving people through the funnel and not just going for top line traffic. Next up, once you've written the 20 blog posts, that should give you a pretty healthy jump. And now you can kind of sit back and relax, because for the next 2 or 3 months, it's going to take you 2 or 3 months to see the impact of that traffic, especially because you're just starting out. So you can sit back, relax, and kind of like come back to it after 2 or 3 months and sort of see which blog post did best. Then based on that, you try to write more of that. The ones that did the worst, you can go in and optimize them. But in the meantime, you can actually spend some time to get super high quality backlinks. So this was a secret, and this was how I was able to get a HubSpot link. Let me show you what that looks like. So if I go to blog.hubspot.com, they had this article written about 40 rebranding announcement email examples. I actually contributed to this article, which is the reason we got the backlink. So we're around 39 here, the bottom. Yeah, there we go. And this is hyperlinked, but if I sort of check into it, you can see it's an actual like do follow link, because the no follow link, it would actually say if it's no follow. So this is a legitimate do follow link that comes from HubSpot's blog. The way I was able to secure that is I did help a B2B writer. So this is the website. Go here. It's a website. If you've heard of Haro, like help a reporter out, it's similar, but this is specifically for B2B writers. By the way, Haro is dead. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, but there now Haro. Before they used to send you an email with all the pitches you could submit a quote to. Now they don't do that anymore. I did help a B2B writer. So basically, whenever there's a request of, so today's request, you can see there's writers that are looking for insights on procurement, insights from UX professionals. So if you are that person, you can actually, so there's questions that you can answer, and then they tell you, hey, what is the publication? What is the domain authority? And then how, or like the email, where should you send the email with the insights? So every day, come on here to the requests, search them, submit a couple of pitches, and I've had a pretty good success rate, and I found the HubSpot link from here. So I sat down one day, wrote a pitch, sent it out, and I think a month or two later, we just had that link for us. So that's really good. The hit rate on Help a B2B Writer is actually really, really good. I think I've had like out of 5, 1 gets accepted personally that I've seen. So that should take you from your 60 page views to 70 now, which is pretty impressive in the short time that you've had. Oh, I think I have a mistake here, but yeah. So let's say from 70 to 100, now this was the biggest thing that actually moved the needle for us to start ranking higher for the programmatic SEO tool keyword that I showed you. It's this automated product-led way of backlinking. So on every blog post that we put out, we have this branding little badge that shows up that says "Made with Engine," and it's a hyperlink back to our site. The way that looks is if I go on our blog post here, this is a link, and if I click on it, it goes back to our blog post. Back to our app page, and this has been fantastic for us to build backlinks at scale without us having to do any work, because the minute a customer signs up and they're using the app and they're creating blog posts, every single time they create a blog post, that link is automatically added to their domain and is pointing back to us. So we're getting the link juice from their site back to us as well. In fact, this is so substantial that about a month or two ago, I made a code change and that link got removed. And we immediately saw our rankings plummet. And of course, I put it back up, but you can kind of see how substantial it was based on the dip in traffic that we had. So if you are building a B2B SaaS, figure out a way to be able to embed this kind of a paradigm or a flow in your app where the more customers that are coming in, the more backlinks you're getting, because hopefully with that backlinks, you move up in search rankings, you get more customers, you get more backlinks, and so on and so forth. So yes, this is really powerful. Happy to talk about this afterwards as well. I'll go one step further, and this is a bonus one that I've been testing very recently. So building out integrations. Most B2B brands actually have an app or marketplace ecosystem, where you can list your app in their marketplace. So for example, Webflow has an app store, HubSpot has an app store, Salesforce has an app store. And if you list your app in there, you get a very strong backlink. Let me show you this thing. So if I go I built out a Stripe app as well. Let's do Stripe app marketplace here. And I go to engine. So this is our app. And you can see like this link over here, this what says company website. Yeah, so this is the link that we have, the backlink from Stripe. But look at this, it says no opener, no refer. Like this is a do follow link that we get from them. And in fact, we're also on the Canva app store. Same thing with them as well. The backlink that you get from them is substantial. So building out integrations to be able to get a backlink from these marketplaces is very powerful. That's just the number one benefit. Number two benefit is because now folks are able to find your app in this ecosystem, you'll get a lot more top of the funnel coming in automatically as well. So that there's two substantial benefits to be able to do this. And I just put one together, I think a week or two ago for Stripe. We also have one for Canva. So if I go Canva, Canva the Canva marketplace. Yeah, app marketplace, and it's called LinkedIn. Yeah, it's called Carousel Studio. This is the app that we have, but this is a link from there, right? So this link is coming from here, like I can see here, and then this is a link from there, from Canva, and there's a lot of usage of these apps. So I've been tracking how many people have been using that Canva app, and you can see that 1,000 people in the last like 7 or 8 days have used the Canva app. So Again, that's a good way of building top of the funnel, plus get a strong backlink. A lot of different, it's surprising, but more and more that I look into other B2B brands, I see these marketplaces. So Salesforce has one, Webflow has one, Vercel has one, Mailchimp I think also has one. So wherever you look, there's going to be these kind of um, marketplaces. Keep your eyes open and see if they have a developer program that lets you create an integration with them, and honestly spend a day or two to build it, and you'll have a great backlink and top of the funnel traffic coming in. But yeah, that was everything. And so to recap, number one, switch to Framer. We've had good luck with it to get our site to show up for our name. Number two, get quality backlinks by helping other B2B writers. So this is submitting the pitches to help a B2B writer out. Number three, write your 20 blog posts and as fast as possible. You don't have to do this, hey, let's do one by one, like one a week. The faster you can write them, the better it is. And try to get as close to 20 as possible. And maybe try to like send it to other people that you know, and then ask their opinion of like, hey, does this read good? Because when somebody else reads it and tells you, hey, the paragraph 2 is not good, number 3 is not good, you can make those changes really quickly and have something that people actually want to share when you do put it out live. Number 4, use your product to build backlinks. This is a very scalable way of getting backlinks without having to pay for them, because backlinks are expensive if you wanted to pay for them. They come to about $200 to $500 per link. So if you can get them like freely and more scalably, perfect. You're saving a lot of money there. And the last but bonus tip is building integrations for these app marketplaces, specifically for B2B SaaS applications. But yeah, that's everything I had today. If you need content marketing help, Engine AI is available today. You can do a 14-day trial. I'm happy to help you kind of set that up as well. But yeah. Any questions?
Awesome. We had some questions throughout, guys. If you have something, feel free to use the raise hand button at the bottom as well, and we'll just try to get through everybody that we can in this last half hour. In the meantime, Suk, can you share the link to your slides in the chat as well? Some people showed up late and we're asking for that.
Definitely.
And we did record this talk. I'll put it up on YouTube as like an unlisted link and share it in the Slack as well for everybody.
Let me do that right now. So I'm going to share it in the chat right now.
I'm just going to go through the chat and look for any questions throughout. So Nate loved your MS Paint skills, FYI. Akash asked what tool you were using on Ahrefs, if that was a paid feature. Maybe you could show us like that again real quick and maybe use Laravel as the example since Alec put that in.
Yeah, let me find that question. Oh, okay. How about Laravel.com? Gotcha. Yeah, we can do that. So yeah, so it is a paid feature. It's very expensive as well, like Ahrefs. It's just we just bite the bullet and kind of pay for it, and it's kind of worth it. So let me show you that again with Laravel. So Laravel.com. Okay, so it's a PHP framework. Let's go to Ahrefs now. And with Ahrefs, if you haven't used it before, you can look at a website's sort of traffic and the keywords that they're ranking for. So if you want to look at Laravel, they're getting about 1 million people coming in top of funnel every month. So like if I was building a Laravel like a tool or competitor, whatnot, I would actually just go on and copy this 780K and plug it into my ROI calculator. So ROI calculator, I'll drop that link as well, just so you can play around with the numbers. But yeah, that's a great traffic source. So I would actually, if I was building something for Laravel, I would go to organic keywords. So this gives you the keywords that they're ranking for. And it looks like they're ranking for the framework, Laravel framework, Horizon Valley, Laravel scheduler. So like this could be interesting. Migrations, what is Laravel? So yeah, so I would the two things you can do. Number one is figure out how much traffic the top leader in your categories is getting, and then use that in your ROI calculator to figure out like possibly if you get there, what, based on the offer that you have, how much money you could make. And number two is figuring out what keywords they rank for. This could be a good place to, if you want to ideate on what blog post to write, you can kind of like start from here and see, hey, maybe like I should write something about schedulers in Laravel. But yeah, that's kind of like the way I would do it.
Have you seen any SEO benefit from the tools that you've hosted on Engine, like the ROI calculator?
Fantastic question. Yes, I have. In fact, tools is a third way of getting backlinks at scale. In fact, let me share a case study as well. So here is, yeah, let me just show you in Plausible. So this captures all the traffic that's coming onto the page. I wonder if it's going to show up here. It's not showing up specifically here. Let me go to Ahrefs actually. So if you actually look at this Ahrefs report here, it actually shows you that we don't only have that one ROI calculator tool. We actually have like 5 or 6 of them, and they all were me just testing out what works. But we have a SEO title generator that ranks pretty good. Meta checker that also ranks really well. Yeah, those are the ones that work the most. The other ones not so much. But yeah, building tools is definitely the way to get a lot of traffic as well. I actually built out this thing, which might be interesting here. What's it called? Oh yeah, regex generator. So here's a tool I built a long time ago. In fact, when ChatGPT or like GPT 3.3 came out, literally you put in what kind of regex pattern you want to match, and it will generate the JavaScript, Python code snippets for that, and then test cases as well. This at one point was getting 500 people coming in every day. So what happens with these kind of tools is, one, a lot of people search for free tools, so they come and use it. And then at the bottom, I can actually have a call out, like a pop-up to redirect people to Engine AI, or just try getting backlinks. So I say, hey, if you've used a regex generator, could you give me a backlink here? You'd be surprised how many people, when they write blog posts and stuff like that, maybe a developer, they'll like link back to here. So you're actually getting backlinks without having to do the outreach for it. So tools are a very good way of getting backlinks. It's just there's dev time required, but it works.
Naji asks in the chat, are there any things you might do differently if you were a service-based business instead of a B2B business?
It's a good question. I might not be qualified to actually answer that. I haven't worked with services-based business too much. What I would do in that case, I think the biggest difference really for services is that you want to go more localized and do sort of what's called like geographical type SEO versus with B2B SaaS, you're kind of selling the tool to anybody in the world. So for example, creating pages like, maybe you're an accountant, so like doing accounting in the Toronto area, you want to create a page for that, and then so on and so forth. A good example site to take a look at if you wanted to do that is Airtasker. So Airtasker is great for services business SEO. So you can see, like, if I go to categories and go to bakers, a good one. So they have like this baking page put out, and they actually go even deeper and say things like, so yeah, it's very well optimized. And if I show you the traffic for these guys, absolutely bonkers. I think it's about a million a month. Oh, but it's a little bit less now, but it does really well. But at the bottom here, they actually also they go deeper than just baking. Then they do like baking in the UK, baking in Australia. So if I was doing like a service business, I would actually like study this site particularly.
Follow-up clarification from Niji. She says specifically offering services like website design, so something you could do for anybody in the world, but not necessarily a product.
In that case, I would niche down. So I would try to figure out, hey, do you want to be a website developer for just fintech, and try to go that route. But I probably am not qualified to answer, like, give specific advice on service-based business in that way.
Technical question. from Anthony, me.
Mhm.
Can you explain the difference between no follow and do follow links? Why does it matter?
Yeah. So if I go to Reddit, for example, it's a good one. Let me find a post that has a link in it. Oh, here. It's not the one. But yeah, so if let me find it. Maybe this was a good one. So if you just drop your backlink or like link in here. Yeah, this is so yeah. So you see this one, it says this link, it says no opener, no follow, and then UGC. So no follow basically means that so if there was no follow and it was a regular link, that indicates to Google that you are sending link juice from Reddit to this other site. So Reddit is backing your site, meaning like, hey, it's a good site, send them the link juice as well, right? So you would get the benefit of like Reddit recommending your site. This is a problem for Reddit because then every single post here would be just completely spammed, and like everybody would be posting their link in here everywhere, right? Because they want to get backlinks from Reddit. Well, the way then Reddit says, hey, I'm gonna add in this tag for any link you post in here that says no follow, which means, hey Google, this link, don't give them any link juice. We're not condoning this website. Give them no benefit, no SEO benefit for them having their link in our site. So that's the difference between the two things.
Um, Another technical question. What is link juice? Why does everybody want it?
Yeah, link juice is basically like so the way like Google works is initially it used to be the search engines were ranked, like your search results were ranked higher based on your page. So if I had baking written 100 times, well, for the baking keyword result, that is like more relevant. So you'd be ranked higher. But you can obviously see why that's bad because now everybody's keyword stuffing. So 100 people create 100 websites with just baking written all over it. Google's algorithm, which was PageRank, worked a different way. It worked in a way where I say, hey, Anthony is good for baking, or Anthony does baking well by giving my, like adding your link onto my page. I'm condoning you for that. This way, now you have to get other people to speak good about you. So then that was a major change that they did with Google. And that's why it's so successful with the PageRank algorithm. So that's link juice, is me condoning your website and saying, Anthony is good for baking. So if a big website links to me, they're passing off their authority to me. So I'm getting the benefit of that. That's link juice. If they don't do that with a no follow, that means I'm not getting any benefit. They're not really condoning me. It's just like a link for a person to click and like find my website. But Reddit isn't really condoning me. So I don't get any benefit of like doing that, which is a reason why people say, hey, you need to pay for backlinks. You need to pay somebody to condone you. You can't just like spam medium.com, Reddit, Twitter, LinkedIn to be able to get that benefit.
Got another question in the chat from Akash. He asks, how long did it take to build and get your apps onto the marketplaces, both for
Uh,
Canva and Stripe?
yeah, great question. Happy to go into it as well. Both are very new. So Canva, it took me about 2 days to build it out, and it took me 2 months to get it approved. And for Webflow, it took me 3 days to build out, and it took me 5 days to get approved.
How did you figure out what to build in the first place? What was your ideation process like?
Yeah, so like some of these integrations, by the way, make total sense for us. So because we're a blogging tool and most of our customers use Webflow, it makes sense for us to be on the Webflow App Store, right? So that one kind of like writes itself. The Canva one wasn't so direct, which is why you saw that for Canva, we have a completely different app called LinkedIn Studio. It actually helps you create LinkedIn carousels, which really doesn't have anything to do with Engine as of yet. We just wanted to sort of test that channel. So I just try to ideate, hey, what are the kind of audiences that go and use Canva? And it's people that make graphics. And is there any like matching between what they want to do to what we do already, which is posting blogs? So when you post a blog, the natural thing you want to do is create a LinkedIn post or Twitter post. So there was like, so I just did that ideation, that idea sort of fit well with the thing that we're trying to do. And that's kind of like what I did, and I built it out simply just to figure out like what was possible. I saw the question come in for Stripe. So Stripe was an interesting one. Stripe, we do a revenue attribution. So if somebody is on your website or on your blog and they actually end up becoming a customer, you want to give credit to that blog post saying this blog post got you $200. So that was a use case for the Stripe integration, and that's kind of what we do with that.
Another question here in the chat. Is Google Analytics fine in an early SEO ramp-up journey, or are there glaring shortcomings with it? Would you recommend an alternative like PostHog? I think Nate shouted that out earlier, or Matamo or Plausible or any of these other competitors. What's the difference?
Yeah, Google Analytics, I personally don't. So Google Analytics, first off, is very complicated. I think I've been using it on and off for the last 6-7 years, and I still don't know what to find anywhere. So in terms of just getting the thing I want, which is how much traffic am I getting and from what source, Plausible is just super simple. That's one. Number two is Google Analytics is blocked about like 2/3 of the time, because everybody has a ad blocker. So anytime you have a Google Analytics and sessions are coming in, you're only seeing a portion of the data, not fully all of it. Plausible or Matamo, I think, or I don't know about specifically about Matamo, but Simple Analytics or any of these kind of alternatives, they are server-side tracking, so they actually get you 100% of the sessions and are not blocked by ad blockers. So you see the full picture of all the users that are coming to your website. That's the other big benefit. The reason I use both of them, both Plausible and PostHog, is specifically for in-app analytics. I want to figure out, once they've come onto the page and signed up as a user, in the app, what things are they clicking? And so PostHog is great for that. Plausible does not do that. Plausible is only for, hey, somebody came to your website and this is the source that they came from. That's all it does.
How long do these different things take to have an effect? If I post an integration on some marketplace today, do I see a result tomorrow, or do I need to wait weeks to see if that made any difference?
Because you're new, it's going to take some time. And so that's why I said when you write the 20 blog posts, right, you can sort of sit back and relax. In fact, what happened was in November, I wrote the 20 and I never wrote anything until a week ago. And so it's kind of like a one and done kind of thing, and that's why I wrote the slides in this way. It's like 7 action items and you can cross them off one by one. And there's no real struggle to kind of like continue on with them. They will automatically start taking effect over time. The more the more age you have on the domain, the more work you've done, the next step, the N+1 step, is going to be faster every single time. So if a blog post was taking me 3 weeks to get indexed on Google, if I have 20, 21st is going to take me a week, right? And then so on and so forth. So there's benefits to kind of continuing to do it, and the steps get easier and easier over time.
Terrell asks, can you track your increased traffic or ranking for a specific backlink, like e.g. one from the Canva marketplace? How cleanly can you measure the impact of these different efforts?
Yeah, great question. I think at the start, I would actually like not even worry too much about the impact. It's just like a numbers game at that point. Can you get like some sort of backlinks at a like quality backlinks at a speed that lets you actually build out your core product, so you're not spending all this time doing this stuff, right? Because that's the meaning of the graph that I was showing you. Because at the early stage, SEO is not really giving you results right away. It's going to take a time, so you don't want to spend too much time there. Now, how do you measure the impact? By UTM tags. So if I go and share my screen here, and I go to the Stripe app marketplace, and I search up engine here. Here in the company website, I actually wrote in. Yeah, you can see the link is it says via Stripe app at the end, so that's the way I track it. And for the Canva app, it says like via Canva app, so on and so forth. And that's how I know where people came from.
Can we see what that looks like on the other end then? Like, how do you see that in your analytics?
Oh yeah, so in the analytics, campaigns, it's got to show up somehow somewhere. I haven't figured it out. Let's see. Canva.com. Yeah, so this is canva.com. So it sometimes tracks itself, but I think the VIA link also works. Just need to figure. I maybe somebody hasn't clicked on it, or yeah, there's something I gotta fix up here. But typically it should show up here if somebody's clicking on that link. I think it's because maybe I'm using VIA and not the UTM tags that they have. And I thought the VIA would work, but looks like not. So the UTM tag builder is here. If I do Stripe app, what does it show me? So yeah, so I think I have to do this. Instead of saying VIA, I need to do UTM campaign. So that's a good call out. I probably should change that right away.
Could you also show us how you check what pages are ranking and what like search terms are sending traffic your way?
Yeah. So number one thing that you should be having if you are building doing SEO is Google Search Console. So you want to connect to it, and if you want to figure out like what how to do that, again, I have the blog post on that. So if you go on Engine DI blog, this actually shows you how to do it. But if you click in, go on performance here, you'll see at the bottom. So queries shows you for the last 3 months what somebody typed in, what keyword they typed in to get to your site. Now, impressions here means how many times your website was in the search results when somebody searched up programmatic SEO tools. Clicks is how many people actually then clicked on it to read the website. So those are that's how you figure out what somebody typed in. But you can also go by pages. So how many times this page specifically showed up in search results, and how many people clicked on it. One step further than that, a pro tip is if you want to see, let's say for this meta checker page, what somebody's typing in for keywords, you can click on it and it will filter that. Now you can go in and look at queries. So it will only show you keywords that somebody's searching up to get to that meta checker page. And you can see these are the keywords for that.
I got another follow-up question here on link juice.
Mhm.
How do you tell how much juice a particular link is worth?
It's more of a, I don't think there's a hard and fast rule for that, but the easiest way to sort of tell that is from domain authority, which is this. So Engine AI, this number right here. So this domain ranking, this is the easiest way. So somebody that has a higher number means that they have more link juice to share to you, which is the reason why when I show you the B2B writer thing, in the request, they actually show you what that domain authority is. So this site, if you were to get included into this site, you're like they would be sending you a link from this site that has 72 authority to your 29 authority. So that's good. You don't want to do like get a link from like somebody that has one domain authority. It particularly not that helpful.
One thing you mentioned is it can take like weeks for Google to index a new page. I've seen some people go into the Search Console and like manually request indexing.
Mhm.
Do you think that makes a difference? Should we be doing that?
Definitely makes a difference. Yeah. You can do that. So once you write the blog post, you can click on that button. So it's this button right here that says request indexing. It does help. So yeah, continue doing that. So once you have a good blog post and people actually like it, they wanna share around. No real qualms about coming in and clicking this button. You're fine for doing so. I would just be careful of like there's also the strategy of like creating 1,000 AI articles and then running the indexing to all of them. I think that's a bit of a wasted effort, so I wouldn't do that.
We can maybe have one or two final questions. I'll throw a last one in for me. You gave us a lot of different stuff to try here. If somebody only had time to pull off one of these things, what have you seen the biggest single impact from? What do you think is the most important thing to do?
The writing of the 20 high quality blog posts. That's probably the biggest one, right? Because like this, so content is all about building a brand and not just getting traffic from SEO. Because when somebody comes to our website and they see that we're doing SEO, but then they see, hey, these guys know actually what they're talking about, because they've written these very incredible guides where if I go to another site, they've written some crap that I don't even understand what it is and I can't even follow it. There's a stark difference, and you start building brand affinity. And if somebody's seen like 2 or 3 of your articles that like really somebody's like, why am I even getting this for free? They're more likely to buy. And that's ultimately a conversion is what you need. You actually don't need more traffic, because even if the traffic is coming in, let's say you're getting 1 million traffic, but nobody's converting, what use is that page or what use is that thing? So focus on writing those 20 articles specifically for your industry, because you are the expert of that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be building anything there.
That's fire. We'll take this last question from Naji. Do sitemaps still matter? The crawler's going to find all your pages eventually, presumably. So do I need to make a sitemap?
Definitely. So if you're using Webflow or Framer, it all automatically comes in. Like it's automatically created. And all you have to do is once you do create that search console, like connect your Google Search Console, then just it's a one-time thing as well. Come to sitemaps here and just copy paste it in here and kind of like go about your day. And that's all you need to do. A good thing I use a sitemaps tab for. By the way, in Google Search Console, there's only 2 or 3 tabs that are worth paying attention to. And performance probably covers like 90% of the use cases. So performance is, once it's connected, that's where you want to be. Sitemaps is only useful for the first couple of times where you put in the sitemap and then you're just kind of like checking when it was last read. That is the only important thing in here. So for example, if I posted something in the morning and I'm like, it's not indexed, right? I can come in here and see when my sitemap was last read, because that will tell me if Google even came to take a look. So again, for early sites, this is not checked that often. It might be checked every week or so. So you kind of have an indication of like my site isn't showing up, or my newly published blog post isn't showing up because Google just didn't have the time. But other than that, once it's set up, you don't have to come back to this page ever.
All right, Suk, thank you so much. I feel like we've just wrung you like a sponge for information in this hour. Really appreciate your time. I will share the link to your deck. I'll share this recording in my notes and Slack. So if you guys missed anything, I know we covered a ton. Go find it there. Go find Suk in the Slack. He's very active, and I'm sure he'll be happy to get back to you eventually. And yeah, if you're interested in doing one of these, leave a note in the Slack as well, and maybe we can set up some more lightning talks in the future. Any last shout outs or words of wisdom, Suk?
No, just follow me on Twitter and message me on Slack. That's the best way to get in touch with me.
All right. Thanks, Suk, and thank you all for being here. See you at the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.